Hello, in this video we are going to demonstrate a sample web application using Spring Boot. Here is the agenda. We would be looking into controllers and views. We will be seeing models in the next later on videos. Today we will see a couple of annotations which are @controller and mapping request. And we will be doing all these controllers and all the pages. If you notice here, the first four, we will be doing all the first four pages using HTML5. A fifth one here is on by using JSP, which is JavaScript, Java server pages. And the last one we will be using a TimeLeaf. Okay, so TimeLeaf is also a JavaScript library where you would be using it for both the web and standalone environments. Okay, and it brings you the beautiful and natural flow of the templates. Okay, so we will see all these things. In order to understand or implement this the content in this particular video, you would need Java 1.8 or later and Eclipse IDE that installed with the Spring Tool Suite. Okay, let's go to our Eclipse and create a project. We want to create a Spring Boot web application. Okay, so we can type Spring Boot starter project. You could give the name sample web app demo, and you could make it default Maven Java 8, and you can change the package here from sample web app demo. So automatically your artifact ID would be sample web app demo. And so far you haven't included or added any dependencies to your project. So today we are going to add 3 dependencies. One is Spring Web, other one is Spring Boot DevTools, and TimeLeaf. Okay. For that, you could search here so that you would be able to see Spring Boot DevTools. Okay, you could add that. So whenever you check this ad, it would select. It would be added under the selected. You could have TimeLeaf. If you add it once, it will automatically come here for the next time. And Spring Web. Okay, so we added Spring Web, TimeLeaf, and Spring Boot DevTools. And then go next, click Finish. So your project has been created here using Spring Boot and DevTools so that we would be able to develop. Look at this structure. We have pom.xml, and you would see all the dependencies in pom.xml. And what are the dependencies that we have included just now? TimeLeaf, Spring Boot, DevTools, and Spring Web, right? So TimeLeaf is here, which is Spring Boot, and DevTools is here. And in addition to that, you have like a Spring Boot starter test and JUnit thing, so that's a regular thing that you would see. So that is pom.xml. So, and you would be seeing here the main method class. Okay, so you will be automatically generated the main method class. Now what we need to do is we have to write our controller. For that, I'm going to create a class called dogController. So my class name itself is controller, dogController, finish. And we will be writing several controllers here in our dogController. So, I mean, several controller methods that we would be writing, which is request mapping methods. It should be public, string. The return type is string because we are going to return the page as a string. Let's say dog home. on our agenda, we have a controller named dog_home, controller method named dog_home, and page dog_home page, which is HTML, right? So you could return the page here, which is dog_home.html. This is a simple controller method that you are going to write, and whenever you call this controller method, this page would render it for you. Okay, so how that would render is basically you have to annotate this class is your controller, and then import the necessary packages, and you have to tell this method is your request mapping, and you have to name it something here. You could name it whatever you want, but to be consistent you can name dog_home and import the statement for this. So now what the controller is an annotation, indicates that the annotated class is a controller. So this is a controller. Dog controller is a controller, and in that you will be having controller methods. Okay, so and for example here we have dog_home is a method, and we annotate with request mapping. If someone is calling dog_home, you should be able to come here and render the dog_home.html. So in order to have that, we used @request mapping. It is an annotation for mapping web requests onto your methods. Okay, so this is a method. Whenever someone requests home, dog_home, it would map here. Okay, and this annotation can be used both at the method levels or at the class level. Okay, so you have to put this in quotes here. Okay, so this is what we are going to get. So now what we will do is we will just run this application and see if there are any errors. It's good that we didn't get any error because we have dog controller. Okay, who will be sending the request? Basically from the browser. So we will be using localhost 8080 port, and I'm sending a request. My request would be dog_home. Okay, so why I use dog_home is basically I use dog_home here. That's why if you want to write your name and you want to call that, you would be able to call that. Okay, so now we have an error here. So that error is white label error page. You might know about black label and red label, but white label is an error page that is a generic error page given by the Spring Boot. Okay, so now what's the error here? So time leaf, right? So if you look at here, we are using HTML for all these four. We are not using time leaf, but we have in our pom.xml, we have our time leaf dependency. So what we need to do is we have to comment out that. We have to comment out this dependency that uses time leaf. Sorry, this dependency that uses time leaf. Okay, so you could comment out add block comment. So now it's commented out. So save again. Sometimes when you save, it automatically relaunch the application. So, or you could use this symbol in order to relaunch web application. Okay, so I think it relaunched. So let me go and do my request here. So what is my request? I'm requesting dog_home. Okay, so now I got a different error which has no explicit mapping here. Okay, so why I got this error? Can you even guess? Did I create a dog_home.html? No. Okay, so that means what we need to do is we have to create doc_home.html under source main. Under main, create a project, create a folder called WebApp. So basically, we are going to put all the files under the main here. Okay, so under the WebApp, now go ahead and create HTML. And I want to name my HTML as doc_home.html. And this name should be matched. Okay. And click next. You could see HTML5 version finish. So you could say something. This is the doc home page. Okay. Relaunch the web app, and you're saving this. You can go to browser. Now request doc home. Now at least you got this is the doc home page, whatever I typed there in the HTML page. So if you understand a model view control, here we don't have model, but we have views and controllers. So basically what would happen is whenever a client send a request, let's say I'm the client, I'm using the browser to send a request that would hit the web server, which is my laptop. And whenever it hits that, it would communicate to the controller. What is our controller? Our controller is doccontroller.java. And since I have doccontroller.java, it would check for whatever I typed here, which is doc home. I have my doc home here, so which has request mapping already, which is annotated so that it would bind to this method. So whatever this method is returning, it would go to that method, which is nothing but doc_home.html, and whatever it is there, that information would be rendered, which is a basic functionality of controller and view. And we will discuss about model in later on videos. Okay. So this is a sample thing. Now I would like you to work on um, the other two things, which is docschool and dogplay.html. Okay. So can you go ahead and create docschool controller method and dogplay controller method, and you would be able to have some pages and you could write whatever the messages that you want to do. Okay, so you could let me pause and you could be able to um, write the source code for that. Okay, so now I have already written dog school and dog play, and I have used dog school and dog play as my request mapping names. Okay, so now what will happen, I also return dog play and dog school HTML pages. Okay, so let me go ahead and do some testing on this. Dog home, I got dog school. I got a school page, which is this is a dog school page. And what's the next one that I want to check, which is play, dog play. Yes, dogs are playing. Okay, so now you could see all the 3 pages has been done. Okay, so what's happening is whenever a client requests something, which is the name that has been given here, it would come to the controller and will check if the particular method is available or not. If it's available, that's going to render whatever the page is that it is returning. Okay, so here it's a dogschool.html. In this case, it's dogplay.html. So with this, we are done with first 3. So the next one is index.html. here in the index.html, as you know that if you don't want to provide anything, it would automatically open up the index.html. Okay, so for that, what we need to give is, I'm going to write a method string index that would return index.html. Okay, so here I'm not going to put any request mapping because I'm not going to call either dog play or dog school or anything. I'm just going to call the website using localhost here. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything. However, I have to write my index.html in order to get something, right? So let me do that. Okay, go ahead and relaunch the application. And now, if you call dog play, you're going to get this. If you're going to dog school, you're going to get this. So basically, you're going to get whatever the controller method that you're going to call. If you delete this, you just call your application, which is using localhost, it automatically directs to the index page. I mean, you know already this concept in the HTML. If you don't give anything, it would automatically call the index page. So that's what I have demonstrated here, but through Spring Boot. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do here is dog treatment page using JSP. Okay, so let's go ahead create a controller method called dog treatment. Public string dog treatment return. What we have to return? We have to return JSP page, which is nothing but dog treatment.jsp. JSP is a Java server page. Dog treatment.jsp. Okay, so for this we need a request mapping because this is not an index thing, right? Let me copy this. Which is dog treatment. Okay, so what we got our controller method and we put whatever the name that we want to call, and what we need now, we need a JSP page, right? So for that, right click here, create a JSP page. That would be, what's my name? Dog treatment. Dog treatment. Next, finish. Okay, so basically JSP pages look like this, which is similar to HTML. Let's just say Java server page. What do we want to, what's this? Treatment, right? Treatment, this. We are treating dogs. Okay. Save and relaunch the application. Okay, no errors. Let's run, or let's check the website here. Dog treatment. Okay, so there are no errors, but when I use dog treatment, I got this downloaded file, right? So because this is a JSP, we have to do a little bit different other than HTML. So usually what we'll do is, since this is a Maven project we already have, because I'm sure none of you have downloaded the Tomcat server. However, if you look at the Maven dependencies, you would see the Tomcat server already here, okay? Embedded Tomcat server, because this automatically came for us because we installed STS, Spring Tool Suite, right? So in order to do this, what we need to do is we have to have a dependency. The dependency is called Jasper, okay? So Jasper, Tomcat Jasper dependency, we need that. So for that, we normally check that in Maven, right? So Tomcat Jasper Maven, okay? So yeah, this is menrepository.com where you could get the dependency thing. And which version you need to get is basically whatever the version that you see here in your Tomcat, which is 9.0.33. So you could take whatever the 9 point something. Okay, so we got here 9.0.33. So take that one, copy the dependency. Where you have to paste this? Exactly, it should be in the pom.html, XML. Okay, so you could place somewhere here and format the source code by right-clicking source format. So you would be able to see Tomcat Jasper. So save and relaunch the application. Okay. What's the page? Dog treatment, right? So we are treating dogs, so which is JSP page. So what's the issue was, whenever we created a controller method that returns JSP, which is a view page basically, okay, and which requires Tomcat Jasper dependency. So that's why we went and searched for the Tomcat dependency and it worked for us. Okay, and now let's go ahead and do our last one, which is dog food. Okay, for that we will be using time leaf. Okay, so let's do that. Public string dog food dogfood.html. Request mapping dog food. Okay, so now we create our controller method. What we have to do now, we have to create our dog food of html.html using time leaf, right? So in order to develop time leaf applications, you don't have to do it here, because if you look at the resources folder here, you could see template. Okay, so all the time leaf files should go into the templates here. Okay, for that you need to do HTML file again. It's a HTML only. I'm giving it as dog food. Click next, finish. So in our HTML file, we need to include this XMLNS tag. Okay, so I mean, you normally get all this in a time leaf documentation. Okay, so nice time leaf documentation, it's already available. Again, so you could be able to search for that. Since I have already copy pasted for you the tag here, that should be enough. So what's a time leaf? It's a server-side Java program, Java template engine for both web and standalone environments. It brings a beautiful natural templates for you to work with. Okay, so which is another JavaScript library that you could be able to learn by yourself. But now I'm going to do this. Oops. Okay. Save it. Okay, let's write something here. This is dogs eating food. You could name it as food and see what could be the error. You still have that error. Why? Because in the pom.xml, we have commented out the dependency here, which is time leaf dependency. Okay, so you could uncomment that and then relaunch. Okay, so now we don't have that error, which is dogs are eating food. So we successfully demonstrated the writing controller methods and able to render the information whenever the user requests from the browser. Okay, so let me say that I'm the user, that I'm requesting from the browser here. So I'm requesting dog food, which would go to the dog controller and look at the dog food method and returns that particular page. Okay, so if I go here and did nothing, it automatically comes the default page. If a client requests for dog home, it would come the dog home page. However, you get white label error because we have not commented out the time leaf, because of the dog food has written in time leaf and we uncommented out that, right? So if you commented out that, you will get it right. So therefore, in this video, we successfully demonstrated how the controllers and views would work when the user requests for something that has been in the controller method. Okay, thank you.